Peace to everybody. This story is about psychological report among dozens of long sealed documents in Jason Van Dyke case made public. And as you can see here in the picture is Jason Van Dyke, who shot Laquan McDonald 16 times. Time froze for Jason Van Dyke as he fired 16 shots at Laquan McDonald. Then The then Chicago police officer told a psychologist in 2016 as he prepared for his murder trial. Yes, so Jason Van Dyke, yes, he did shoot Laquan McDonald 16 times while Laquan McDonald was walking off to the right to get away from Jason Van Dyke. Van Dyke told Dr. Lawrence Miller that he was not that good a shot with the handgun and thought the shots may have been missing the teen as he walked down Pulaski Road holding a small knife. First of all, Jason Van Dyke is a liar because the camera dashboard in the car showed otherwise, that Jason Van Dyke fired those 16 shots as Laquan McDonald was walking off in a different direction. He recalled thinking, why isn't McDonald falling? Why isn't he stopping? According to a report from Miller, made public Wednesday as part of the public release of almost 90 documents long sealed by the Cook County judge who preside over the hot button case. So that's a lot of documents right there. 90 of them? Yeah, that's a lot. And now Jason Van Dyke is asking why didn't he fall? Yes, he did fall. Laquan McDonald did fall because after those 16 shots, you're not going to stand up after that. No. And he's lying to Dr. Miller of all these, saying, oh, he was not a good shot. Yes, he was, because how else would McDonald have passed away with all those shots, with all those bullets in him? The report offers a window into the Van Dyke's thinking, or at least what he was willing to share with a psychologist. In the moments surrounding the shooting that night in October 2014, and in what he referred to as the shell-shock days afterwards. So now Jason Van Dyke is lying about, oh, I missed this and that. No, he didn't. He got him, and you know what? Laquan McDonald wasn't even walking towards Van Dyke. He was walking in another direction to get away from Van Dyke because when he saw Jason Van Dyke coming towards him, he took off on another direction, and Jason Van Dyke fired those 16 shots. Following an historic trial, Van Dyke was convicted in October of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery, one count for each bullet that struck McDonald. He got convicted. His release date is 2028, which I think that would be a wrong idea to let him out at that time. I would say keep him there, really, because if you shoot 16 times at a person that's not doing anything to you, and they walk it off in a different direction, then why are they even letting him out in 2022? It's ridiculous. Not featured in Miller's report was a key moment from the trial when, on cross-examination by prosecutors, the psychologist recounted that shortly before arriving at the scene, Van Dyke told his partner, "Oh my God, we are going to have to shoot the guy." That was the first public indication that Van Dyke mulled over shooting the teen even before arriving, and perhaps explain why he opened fire within just 6 seconds of exiting his squad car at McDonald, walked away from police. So now he told his partner, we're going to have to shoot him. And as Laquan McDonald was walking away, that's when the 16 bullets started flying at him and killed him. And Laquan McDonald was laying on the street dead, and the police, they just did not care at all. And of course, Jason Van Dyke's partners, they helped him cover up the murder by lying on their police reports, saying, "Oh, I feared for my life. Jay, he came at me with a knife, da da da." No, that's not true at all, because that was a lie. And this is why you can never trust the police, because they cover up every single lie that they could think of. They just want to get their brownie points in, move up the ranks so they don't have to deal with it. Miller was hired by the defense to testify about how the intense stress of a police involved shooting can affect an officer's perception. The Florida based psychologist interviewed Van Dyke via Skype in April 2016. So, 2016, jeez. Why would you get a psychologist to interview Van Dyke during that? Oh my goodness. And he's in Florida? Jeez, I would have had a psychologist in Chicago somewhere. Why go to Florida? And oh my God. Yeah, he was hired all right, but by the defense team to testify about it. According to the report, Van Dyke recalled firing his weapon, but had no sense at the time of how many times he pulled the trigger. Asked what other officers at the scene were doing during the encounter, Van Dyke described to Miller a sort of tunnel vision. So, yeah, he kind of described it. He was like, oh, I mean, pulling the trigger 16 times to empty out his gun like that. No. This is why Jason Van Dyke is in prison. And, it's a shame they're going to let him out in a couple of years. And, I wouldn't even let him out. I would let him rot in jail. There was nobody else around. I could see was McDonald, he said. Oh, so now Jason Van Dyke said there was nobody around but only Laquan McDonald. What about the partner that was with him? I think that pretty much explains most of it. Van Dyke told Miller he saw McDonald move the knife back and forth across his chest 2 or 3 times, but later learned that the knife blade gesture was only done once. So this is where Jason Van Dyke is going to start lying. Yes, he saw the knife move back and forth across his chest. And why would Laquan McDonald be playing with a knife, moving it back and forth his chest? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Van Dyke thinks he's so slick, but he's not. By the time he got home the next morning, Van Dyke showered and collapsed in bed until his wife came home. She had learned of the incident from Facebook. He told Miller, and he could tell she had been crying. That broke me up, he said. So, yeah, the wife found out about it on Facebook after she got home. And Jason Van Dyke, he came home that night and he showered and collapsed because he didn't want to be found out about what happened, but accordingly it was too late because the wife found out, and Jason Van Dyke wanted to wash away the evidence. Van Dyke didn't feel like himself when he returned to work a few days later. He told Miller, and when colleagues approached to shake his hand, I just felt shell-shocked. I would feel shell-shocked too because I would never shake that man's hand, ever. If you kill somebody, no, you're going to run from them because that person cannot be trusted anymore. This is why Jason Van Dyke wasn't himself that night, because of what he has done. And of course, everybody was outraged about it. They all wanted Jason Van Dyke to pay for what he has done. And now that justice was done, Yeah, nobody's going to want to be around him at all. Not long after Van Dyke and his partner were at the same 7-Eleven store where they initially got the call for assistance on McDonald, when a similar call came in about chasing a suspect with a gun. Van Dyke remembered having a death grip on the passenger side door and thinking, I don't want to go to this, the report said. His partner ran after the suspect while Van Dyke stood by the car pretending to be looking, the report says. So now Jason Van Dyke was pretending to be innocent, which he's not, and while his partner went after Laquan McDonald, allegedly. But Jason Van Dyke, he was just pretending, oh, nothing happened. Do. But then when he saw that Laquan McDonald was walking off to the side, and that's when Jason Van Dyke shot 16 bullets into him. At trial, Van Dyke took the witness's stand on his own behalf on the same day as Miller. He repeated much of what he had told the doctor more than 2 years before, saying he feared for his life as he shot an expressionless McDonald. So Jason Van Dyke lied and said, oh, I was fearing for my life. Laquan McDonald was coming towards me. No, he wasn't, because if you could recall the dashboard cam in the car, it tells otherwise, because that's the evidence everybody was looking at. Laquan McDonald was walking off in another direction, while Jason Van Dyke was standing at the police car shooting him 16 times. Van Dyke, 41, was sentenced in January to 6 3/4 years in prison, with both credit for time served while awaiting sentencing and expected day-for-day credit for good behavior. He is slated for release in February 2022, records show. Due to apparent security concerns, he was moved from the Illinois prison system and is currently being held at a federal prison in New York. So yeah, so they moved him out of Illinois, and his family don't even know about it because they never contacted his family, and they moved him all the way to New York to a federal prison. The evidence against Van Dyke centered on a now infamous police dashboard camera video of the shooting in October 2014. The court order release of the graphic images sorry to retract, then a year later sparked political upheaval and led to a sprawling federal civil rights probe into the systematic mistreatment of citizens by Chicago police, particularly in the city's minority communities. So yeah, so everybody was protesting because they wanted justice for Laquan McDonald, and they they did not like what Jason Van Dyke did by shooting Laquan McDonald 16 times in every direction you could think of on his body. It don't matter if it's the legs, the body itself, or anything. But everybody got justice. Justice was served, but with him being out in February 2022, I think that's a bad idea to let him out of that prison, because you never know what's going to happen. He's probably going to go do the same thing again if he was to be released out of prison. And of course, I know probably by now Jason Van Dyke is no longer with the Chicago Police Department, because there's a lot of crooked cops, and this is just the beginning with Jason Van Dyke. There are a lot more crooked cops in Chicago than what you think they are. They all say, oh, well, we're here to help the community. No, they're not around to help the community. They only make it worse in Chirac. They don't care how people feel. They just say, oh, this is just another person dead. We don't care. Well, guess what? The corrupted Chicago Police Department need to wake the hell up and stop all these garbage what they're doing. Because you know what? It's not going to get them anywhere. I would just get rid of all of the Chicago Police Department that are crooked and keep the good ones. Get rid of Eddie Johnson while they're at it. Get rid of Mayor Rahm Emanuel on top of it, because you know they don't care about what is going on. Police reports are being lied on day after day. It don't matter from morning till night. It just does. It's a non-stop thing going on in Chicago with all these lies. It's too much. They need to do something about that police department. Shut it down if they have to. That would be a better idea. Leave your comments below. I am out.